Hi everyone, I'm Brianna and welcome to Roll Initiative. Today we're looking at 5 different ways that you can make notes as props in D&D. So, let's get started. So, sometimes it can be hard to figure out when you should use props in your game and when you shouldn't because they're a bit of a novelty thing. And if you use the same thing all the time, then it's not really going to be that exciting anymore. But using different props and using them just sparingly throughout the game can be really exciting for the players. And notes are one of the most common props to use and can be used for practically anything in almost any game. So if you're worried that your notes aren't exciting anymore, then don't worry, because in this video we're going to be looking at 5 different notes that you can use. So let's have a look. So these are the most common form of notes. They're just a simple, plain, worn-looking note. Mainly what makes these interesting is that they look aged, which I have a whole nother video on that I'll link in the cards if you wanted to check it out. Rolling up the note is the simplest way to change it from feeling like a note you found on the ground or that was handed to you to something that you might have received on the leg of a bird or found in a bottle. It is really easy to do, and you literally just take one of the normal notes, roll it up, and if you have some jute twine or something to tie around it, then that looks really cool. The envelope is one of the harder ones to make, as you need to do it in 2 different parts, making the envelope and then making the normal note to put inside it. And the envelope looks 10 times better if you use a wax seal to seal it shut. It has been so much fun to use these at my table, and I love using them. They're probably my favorite out of all of my note props, and I use them for way more than just D&D props. I actually use them as letters to give to people outside of game for like birthday cards and such. So every time I need someone important to send a letter, either to the party or the party intercepts it, then I need to use one of my envelopes because it's so much fancier than all the others. It has a wax seal and it's all nice and neat, whereas the others are more like sort of ragtag notes that might have been crumpled up a few times. But I use envelopes a lot. So I wanted to come up with some sort of simpler note that I could use instead of an envelope when it's an important letter. Something that still looks really fancy and presentable. And this is what I came up with. It's pretty awesome actually, and I am really happy with it. I have recently done a video on how to make one. If you wanted to check that out, I'll put it up in the cards for you. So again, the scroll is fairly simple and is very similar to the rolled up note, but the scroll I think can be used for something much more important, as the main difference here is that it is a lot larger. I used a full sheet of paper and just made it smaller by fixing up the edges, and this one's actually a map, and I think that is what makes these so cool. They're not just notes. I think it would be awesome to do up a map of a castle or some sort of dungeon and hand it off to your players as a map of the dungeon, maybe by some sort of NPC that's helping them. And there's so many things you can do, such as actual drawings and maps on these, that I think is so cool. But there we go, that's the end of this video, and thank you so much for watching. I really hope it was helpful and that it might have given you some ideas. And if it did, then I would be so grateful if you'd consider giving it a like, or maybe even subscribing to my channel. But as always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.